Hello and welcome to Dice Jesters. My name is Julie.
And my name is Dave.
And today Dave will be showing me...
Century Golem Edition.
Awesome, perfect. I was going to say the name, but I completely forgot it. So.
It's all good.
Alright, so why did you decide to show me this one?
So I decided to show you this one because Century Spice Road is a game that's been around for a little while and is known as being one of those perfect games to show to somebody who hasn't played a lot of games, because there's a lot in it that come up in more complex games, and this is a good way to introduce people to some concepts like collecting resources and fulfilling contracts that trying to build towards something.
Contract fulfilling, that's interesting.
To get some points. So that was Century Spice Road, but they came out with this other version called Century Golem Edition that has updated artwork that I find fascinating. So I've actually never played Century Spice Road. It's been one of those games on my list of games to try, but just for whatever reason I hadn't. I played a game that's kind of similar called Splendor that gets compared to a lot. I wanted to show you something that was kind of similar, but one I hadn't played before. So I'm excited to show this to you to experience it for my first time. And would you like to take a look at the box cover and look inside?
Yeah, I would love to. Oh, it's so cute. I like the little, I don't even know what those are. It kind of looks like an isopod.
Ooh.
You're going to go, Julie, what's an isopod, right?
You read my mind. Yeah.
Okay, so an
like
isopod.
Your sidekick or something.
They're the cute little, like, they look like armored bugs.
Oh.
And that's what that looks like right there.
Yeah. I haven't even looked closely at the box cover art, to be honest.
Look. Sorry. Look at how cute the gems are.
They're very colorful.
Lupin's looking at me like, can you calm down over there? Oh, look how cute they are. Oh, look at the container.
You just take it right out of the box. Look
okay, yeah. One sec. There we go.
Nice.
Oh. Makes me want to get a fish tank.
It does kind of look like an aquarium.
I
very
like
brightly
it.
colored
I like it.
gems.
Oh my gosh, wow, it's quite the stack.
Yeah.
Oh, there's different colored cards. There's there's 3 different colored cards. What do they have? Oh, little sorcerer. Oh, the art's so cute. It's like, what is that thing? What is it called? The Oregon Trail. It has Oregon Trail vibes, but as if it's in some dimension that has crystal monsters and sorcerers and wizards and whatnot. So that's cool. Ooh, I like how these coins are. They're nice.
Like hefty.
Yeah. Cool, good quality. They're not paper.
Yeah.
I like these. I like these gems. I just want to collect these.
So if you had to guess what we're doing in this game, what do you think we're trying to do?
Dude, I don't know.
I don't even care.
I don't even care. Just tell me. Let's just get into it. I just want...
Yeah, so...
Yeah, I'm not even going to guess, honestly, because I don't know. Like, these cards are very cute. They're slightly hard to guess, and I'm sure each color means something, so yeah. Just hit me with the rules.
Well, the main idea of the game is that we're trying to collect the most points by fulfilling these contracts by collecting gems. Like, we're trying to collect different kinds of gems by playing cards from our hand that will let us do certain things, like collect gems or change gems from one color to another color.
Yeah.
And do that to basically collect and then cash those in for points is really what we're doing.
Okay.
But the theme of the game, it doesn't really explain it in the rulebook, but there's a little snippet. I always like to explain like who we are, what we're doing thematically, but I'll just read this to you. Are you ready?
I am.
Papa, where do crystal golems come from? The great masters craft them using soul crystals. Oh, but where do soul crystals come from? From all over the world. They're very rare. Legend says they are the souls of people who died long before the first humans came to Carvania. Well, when I grew up, I'm going to be a crystal trader. I'll travel the world and I'll try to find the very best crystals, and the masters will make great big powerful golems from them, like the gatekeeper. So I guess we're trying to make golems out of crystals in this game, and whoever does that the best will be the winner.
I'm going to have the most baddie golem.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. So I'm really excited. Are you ready to try this for the first time?
I am excited, and...
And what?
I brought the drink.
You brought the drink?
Yes.
What are we pairing it with today?
Well, you told me that the game is called Century Golem Edition, right?
So what random ingredients did you find in your fridge is what I'm trying to ask.
So I was trying to go with a golem theme, and so I thought Rocky, right?
Okay.
Well, I don't have ice. because I have an ice inversion.
Yeah, it's a whole topic to dive down.
I have ice cream, right?
Yeah, it's like the same thing. Cream of ice?
Yeah, it's like the same thing. It's just creamed. So I have ice cream. So in my mind, I scooped it to make it look like a rock. To make it have like Golem-esque, right? So I have cotton candy wine from Michigan. And I thought it would pair well with ice cream. All right,
Nice.
so here you go.
So I've tried the cotton candy wine. Very good. I've tried the ice cream. Also very good.
The ice cream's
I'm
alright.
curious.
Here you go.
Well, it's Tillamook, so it's amazing.
It's raspberry ice cream because that's what I had.
That's what you had. So it looks delicious. I don't know that I'm getting Rocky vibes from this halfway melted ice cream and this wine, but
Okay,
you know.
okay. But you know, now
how
after
about this? The colorful
the
nature.
colorful, yeah. Now seeing the
Sure as well.
gems, I think it's spot on.
Yeah,
I
it's
think I did
amazing.
great.
Well, thank you for creating this delicious looking beverage,
Of course, of
Julie.
course.
And why don't we go play this game? I'll teach it to you, and then we'll come back and talk about what we thought.
Talk about our first round. Sounds
Yeah.
good to me.
All right, so we are back after playing
Our first round.
of Century Golem Edition.
Yes.
What were your thoughts, Julie? Did you enjoy this game?
Oh, I enjoyed the game. Not just because I won.
You won.
But I liked it because the art's really pretty. I love the dynamic of the pieces. I love the holding physical pieces. I like the cards. And then a big thing for me is, I know I'm just getting into board games, so there's not a lot of games that I can really compare it to. But
Yeah.
I did kind of feel that it was ever so slightly Dominion-esque.
How so?
Because in Dominion, you and I just kind of keep going, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you and I just play fast. We go and we try to collect our own little things so we can always play our own strategy. And
Yeah.
in this game, I could play aggressive. Like, I could strategically plan, oh, I have this card where I can trade in my yellows for this. And I know that card's in my hand.
Yeah.
And then when I put it down, I can use a turn to grab it.
Mm-hmm.
But I could continuously play that card to get the upper hand if I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that there is something that I wanted on the board.
Yeah, I could see the Dominion comparisons in the sense, I mean, you have cards that you're collecting, and then they let you do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, like, maybe the similarity with Dominion is this one is kind of like a race, where Dominion, you're trying to get the most points, but the game ends when one of those piles is gone. And this one...
When the higher, like, estate, province piles are gone.
Yeah, so there's just a natural, like, there's no rounds in this game. We just play, game over.
Yeah.
And, like, the last game we played, Sagrada, there were, 10 rounds in the game, so it was round, and we just kept going until we knew when the game would end. This one, I feel like you just get lost in, I'm going to play this, play that, and then you're like, oh, the game's over.
Yeah.
Because we just keep going back and forth until it's done, so...
Yeah, and the upgrades reminded me of how you could upgrade your coins, like your treasures.
Oh, yeah,
from gold and silver and copper.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what that reminded me of, too. Just a really pretty, vibrant, colored version with really nice graphics that I really enjoy.
I agree.
I would go for the graphics I liked. Even though they were maybe less points, I would see it and go, oh, I want that one.
I love that you have your whole strategy based off of how the cards look. And I agree. The artwork in this game is really cool. I love how big the cards are.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we're playing right now in a room that's not very brightly lit.
Yeah.
And it's easy just to look and see what's on the table without having to get up really close to read any text or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that the game came with these trays
I
for
know,
each
that's so
of the
cute.
colored crystals. And you can't see it right now, but we actually have candles next to each of the trays that are like colored candles, and
They're electric candles, of course. So
yeah,
my
to really
cat's
set the
tail.
mood. To set the mood.
Yeah,
So,
I love that.
I love that too. And so, was there anything else that you want to talk about that you liked about this game after one play?
There's nothing I don't like, so I really like that you could pick your card. Basically, you would have to spend money depending on what card you wanted,
Mm-hmm.
but if you wanted the first card, it was technically for free. And then, so it's kind of like the coppers, 0 cost to you.
Yeah.
And you each get a turn to buy something, and then you play the card, and you just grab the cards. So
Yeah.
it has the whole discard pile, technically, and then once you're done, you can grab it. But I also like the dynamic of being able to quote unquote grab your discard pile right away if you want it. You just can't play it right away. You have to wait for your next turn.
Yeah, I love that idea of managing a hand of cards, because the picking the cards back up once you play them is a whole turn. So you want to try to go as many turns as possible before you waste that whole turn just collecting that back in your hand. But you could just play the card that gives you 2 yellow crystals and then pull it back, and then get 2 more and then pull it back. But that's not very efficient. And I think that this game is an efficiency puzzle.
Right.
You're collecting the cards to get you to do the right conversions to ultimately fill the contracts, but you want to do it in the most efficient way and plan ahead. So to me, this game is kind of like a more tactical game in the beginning of, like, it's hard to sit down, I think, and plan a whole strategy from turn 1. I'm going to do A, B, and C in this round, and I'm going to try to go for this certain strategy, because you don't know what cards are going to come out. But I think in the beginning, it seemed like we were each racing to grab those cards, cards to put into our hand.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's almost like, then I built my strategy. Okay, I have like 7 cards. I'm going to do this and then that. And like each turn kind of cycle through these in the right way to fulfill these contracts. So it was like switch from tactical to more strategic. How did you do it? Did you feel the same way?
Oh, I felt the same way. That's why I was kind of laughing.
Yeah.
Because I had built my hand. And so I was able to get the blues and the pinks, the really high gems.
Yeah.
As fast as possible, because I had built my hand in a way that could collect those as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And I think that's how I ultimately won, was because I just got the right cards.
You just got the right cards, but you pieced it together. And it was almost like, I wouldn't call this game super brain burny, but to me, it stretches a part of my brain that maybe I'm not the best at. Because when you look at your hand of cards, okay, my yellow can trade to a blue and 2 greens, and then I can trade a green to 2 yellows and this. So you kind of have to figure out 5 or 6 moves down the line when you play these cards in this order, what crystals you'll end up with, and then try to fulfill a certain contract. So
that's probably why I'm good at it.
You were really good at it, and because you just knew you played your turns really fast, you got everything you needed, and you collected all 6 cards. And I kind of had to think in a different way that maybe I'm not the best at, but I enjoyed the challenge, and I think this game was a lot of fun. Did you feel like there was like any player interaction in the first game where you pay attention to what I was doing too? Did you feel like you could mess me over or anything like that?
Mess you over? I wouldn't particularly use that word choice. I would say if there's a way that I could grab a card before you, because there was one that was all pink.
Yeah.
And I wanted that one as well, and I saw you were collecting the pinks, so I guess in a way I could figure out a plan to collect more pinks than you.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. Or let's say there's a really good card, maybe down the line, and I have more yellow ones than you. I could pay to get the better card right away instead of waiting for it.
That's true.
Yeah, but I don't think there's a formal way of attacking you.
No, yeah, it's just looking to see what I'm collecting more of and trying to get maybe the cards that would benefit me the most if you really want to dive down into it. But
yeah,
I felt like this first game, we kind of like talk and we're laughing and joking. We were pretty quiet in this one, like just racing through it, trying to do our thing. Yeah. Which is like just a different kind of experience, but I enjoyed it very much.
I also think that this game in general, I picked up on right away. Like there was no learning curve.
No.
It was just one explanation. This is how you do it. This is what it looks like. And there you go.
You had 0 follow-up questions. You said, okay, I'm ready.
0. Yeah.
I'm ready to win.
Go.
Let's go.
You were like, don't you want to know about the... I'm like, no, let's go.
No, let's just rock and roll.
Yeah, because the points are really easy. They're on the cards.
Yeah.
And then the silver and copper coins all have a point. The points are extremely easy to count up. So it was very obvious on how I was going to win.
I think that's... well, I think that's a good point. And I think why this game is so popular for games to introduce people who don't play a lot of games, because the path to victory is really obvious. Like, Dominion, I think, is difficult. We'll use Dominion as an example. It's a game that's a little bit difficult to teach because you have to explain how to win the game. You have to collect these cards, but then you have to understand that those cards don't do anything for you. So it's kind of like harder to see that direct path to victory. Whereas here, you can look at the card and say, okay, for this I need 2 green and 3 blue to get 13 points, and whoever has the most points wins. So it's just easy to know how to win the game, but it's difficult to figure out how to get there and make it happen. So
yeah,
I really liked it.
I really liked it. And what I like most about it is that all the pieces are really pretty.
Yeah, it's so nice to look at.
I know, it's so appealing. It's appealing in every way. The gameplay is appealing. The pieces are appealing. So honestly, this is a 5 out of 5 meeple.
Oh, right. Well, let's get into the score. And I think I am a sucker for game components when it has nice stuff to hold on to or look at, artwork, the trays. Like, that really elevates the game experience for me. But I think, for me, I'll give this one...
Oh my god, you're not going to say 5 out of 5. What are you going to say, Dave?
It's difficult because...
It's not a 4.5, Dave. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 4.5 out of 5.
Oh, I knew you were gonna say that.
It's not quite a 5, but it, for what I wanted this game to be, it did that perfectly. Yeah. So I think I would be very excited to play this game anytime you want to play it. I'm excited. I'm assuming. Do you want to do a 10 by 10 for this one?
Yeah, we do a 10 by 10 for this one. You know, I know that I give like Meeple scores or whatever, but I feel like as we play more games, that maybe my mind will change when I start to develop a more, I don't know, refined palate.
Well, I mean, I'm saying here, it was like between a 4 and a 4.5 for me, and I think I don't think they're gonna, like, especially when we're doing these 10 by 10s, I don't think there are many games that we're gonna rate really low because I'm kind of picking these games based on what I think we're going to like together. So it would be a huge miss on my part if we played a game. I picked one and it's like a 2 out of 5. You know, most of them we're gonna like. So
we can do ones where I just pick one based off the cover.
Yeah, we walk into a board game store and you just pick one, and I'm like, no, we're not gonna like this. I know about it,
like,
but
we're
let's
doing
do it. Yeah.
Okay, so you got a 4 out of 5 Meeple. I got a 5 out of 5. But the real question for me, Dave, what I brought to the table was ice cream and wine.
You know, it's funny. I was going to mention that as I was enjoying the beverage, but I thought I'd leave it for this review to give you my full thoughts.
Oh, okay.
So I love the cotton candy wine from Michigan, I guess. I love the Tillamook ice cream. I love Tillamook. I've taken you to the cheese factory. It's a whole journey.
Okay, that's fine. What do you think about the drink? I don't care about the ice cream.
It paired very well. It worked.
Okay,
and
thank you.
I think the color works with the game.
Works with the game.
You did an excellent job with this pairing based off the random ingredients in your fridge /
cabinet.
So
how I make the drinks is you tell me the name.
Yeah.
And then I put the name in my mind, and then I look in my fridge.
Should I tell you the theme? So you maybe...
No, I don't want that. I don't want that. I just want the name.
Yeah.
But alright, so I'll pour you another one, scoop another ice cream, and we'll get into the 10 by 10.
Yeah, and one thing I was going to mention, I forgot to mention in the very beginning, we always talk about how the starting player is determined for a game.
Yeah.
I didn't do it for this one. There wasn't, like, anything super interesting in the rulebook other than you get dealt random caravan cards, and whoever has the crystal icon gets to be the starting player. So that's how it works in this game. And I enjoyed taking this journey with you. Looking forward to the 10 by 10. We'll go dive in and come back. Oh my god. Never have I known defeat.
Until you met me.
Until I met you and I did this 10 by 10 of Century Golem Edition.
Yes.
Julie, I lost.
Yeah,
I lost really bad.
The way you lost was embarrassing.
It was. You won 7 out of the 10 games that we played together.
Yeah.
Julie, your best score was 100.
100, yep.
My average score was 76.9.
Yeah, it was 76.9.
So you did really good.
Oh, I know. I did really good. I knew I was doing really good.
How did you know?
Because I was winning.
Every single time.
I got
a couple. But when I did win, it felt really exciting.
Was it? You only won by like a few points.
Yeah, but it was a victory, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
What did you think?
I like this game. I like this game a lot, and I think the reason that I beat you in this game was because I could play it the way I play chess. So I could play it where I saw the cards that I needed, and then we had the, I don't know, action cards, if you want to call them.
Yeah.
And I knew what action cards I needed to be able to chain the, what are these, crystals?
Yeah, gems,
sure,
crystals. Sure,
gems, crystals, in a way where it could get me to the pink, blue, and green as fast as possible when I needed them.
Okay, but when you say you're thinking strategically, you're looking at the cards that give you points and figuring out from the action cards how to get there.
Yeah, so let's say there's that 20 card that has 5 pink gems. Well, then I would look at my cards and I would figure out a way to maximize my turns to get 5 pink gems before you.
Yeah.
And I would look at what you're doing, and I would do a guess, and then I would also go back and forth based off the cards that I've seen you lay down on what you can and cannot do. So then I was mathing in my mind. I was just like, oh, okay, so he won't get pink gems for 4 turns. I can do it in 3 if I do this, this, and this.
Okay.
And then this will allow me to buy it first. So that's why there was a lot of situations where you're like, I was going to get it. But I was able to beat you by 1 turn.
It's an efficiency puzzle.
Yeah.
That's all this game is.
I'm efficient.
So how do you, I guess we can talk about strategy versus luck. How do you deal with, so there's 5 of these point cards out at any given point in time. How do you feel about the luck in the game in terms of what cards come out? You mentioned that you would buy the action cards to build a strategy, but how did you find yourself buying the action cards to deal with luck later in the game when different cards come out?
Yeah, so there was that upgrade card where you would upgrade whatever to whatever depending on how many moves you wanted to do. So I knew that as long as I could get blue, I could get pink.
Yeah.
And then I would pick cards to get me to greens and blues because I knew yellows you always received because you started with 1 card that had 2 yellows and 1 card that had 2 upgrades.
Yeah.
So I had already planned out that I could always receive 2 pinks and 2 yellows as long as I had 2 blues and 2 greens.
Mm-hmm.
So my strategy was to get cards to maximize blues and greens. So then when a Golem card came out, I could rearrange how I did that to get the needed gems for that Golem card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not talking from a master level experience in this game. I try to diversify my cards so no matter what, I could get a certain color. Obviously, that didn't really work out that well for me. And I was always just a step behind you. It felt like you were very efficient at this game, and you would always pick up one of those point cards before I would. You'd always be 1 card ahead of me, and I was always trying to race. And that, to me, I guess leads to my next point or question about the game is how do you feel the pacing of the game was? Like, do you feel like it was too short? Do you feel like it was just the right length? A little bit too long?
I feel like it was just the right length because it's kind of like Azul where you can control it.
Yeah.
Because you could purchase all the tiny ones to get 6, or you can take multiple turns to get enough gems to get the higher numbered ones.
Yeah.
So it kind of depends. Like, you really could win the game with all 8s and 9s if you are just way quicker than the other person.
Yeah. And that was what I was trying to do. And because I love games where the players can dictate how fast the game moves along. Like, if you want, you can kind of chill, build up whatever you're trying to do, score a lot of points. In this game, though, I tried several times to rush the game, where I would just go for those low-scoring point cards because I had a few gems that could cash in on those.
Yeah.
And I lost every time I tried to do that. Like, you would still have fewer cards and come out ahead. Even though I would come out with the 6 cards required to end the game for a 2-player game. Mm-hmm. You would have 3 or 4 and still beat me. No matter what.
I think that's because you just didn't do it fast enough.
Yeah.
Like, you still gave me time to get at least 4 cards.
Yeah.
And so, sure, you might have had 6 8s or 6 9s or 6, 8 through 10s. But while you got those 6, I was in the background getting 20s, 17s, 16s.
Yeah. I just felt throughout the game, the whole time I was thinking, I feel like there's a more efficient way to do what I'm doing, because for me, my mind process, my mind mapping of what was going on was muddled in this conversion of the yellows to the greens to the blues, and then you can cash in 1 blue for 3 yellows and a green, and then cash in a green for whatever. It's just all of this back and forth of this color to that color to ultimately get the right ones. And for whatever reason, I was looking at my combo of cards in front of me, thinking, okay, if I play this card, then I play that card, play that card, play that card to get what I need. But there might have been a quicker way to do it. I just wasn't seeing it. And I felt maybe the more cards I had in my hand, the more I fell into that trap of not quite being able to figure out the most efficient way.
Yeah, and I would predict which one you were going for, too.
Yeah.
And then I would beat you to it.
Every time. Every time I would have the gems ready to go, and you would grab the card I needed, And I was focused on that card, and I would look at the rest and think, wow, I was going for the wrong thing. Now I need to start from scratch trying to figure out how I'm going to get to this card. And then you beat me to that one every single time.
Well, then if you ever beat me to a card, instead of continuously collecting that gem, I would switch tactics right away too. Like, I wouldn't just move forward and be like, oh, I still need 5 pinks. If that card was gone, I was just like, okay, what can I do with all these pinks that I already collected?
Yeah.
And how can I use them on another card?
Yeah. Wow, you're very sharp at this game.
I like this game.
I feel like it fits into your way of thinking. Like, it was just cool to play. I love playing games 10 times in a row so we can explore the strategy. And do you feel like, after playing it 10 times, how do you feel the replayability of this game is? Do you think that we've kind of reached the limit of what this game can offer, or do you think every time we play it we can still find new and cool ways to enjoy it?
I think we could still find some new cool ways to enjoy it because we haven't utilized all of the conversion cards.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't really seen all the golems because we've been shuffling.
Yeah.
So we haven't really played through everything.
It's true. I think that the decks that come with the game are pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
So every time you play, the cards are going to be different.
Yeah.
And I found myself at each of the 10 games, and I don't know if I was just trying to become more and more efficient at what I was doing, but I felt like my strategy was a little bit different based on what cards were available at the offer, like what you can pick from. And because some games we had cards that would just give you straight gems, and then other games, like, none of those cards came out. We had to find ways to creatively convert from this to that to that.
And there was that one game where I got the crystal.
Yeah.
And that sorcerer was white at the start.
Yeah.
And I snatched it. So
Yeah,
I started off the game real nice.
You can start off the game strong. And that, like, if we're going to get into any cons, because I love this game. I think that it's fantastic. It's so simple, but it's also brain-burning in just the right ways. If I were to mention any potential negative, maybe it's more neutral, but the row of cards that you get for the actions in a 2-player game, it felt like sometimes there's no way to, like, flush the cards out to get new ones out. So if there's nothing good out there, you kind of have to grab a card in order to bring out a new card. But I also found, like, no matter what the card was, I ended up being able to use it in a certain way at some point. So even if you don't need it now, like, down the road, you could use it.
Yeah, and that's what I did too when I was annoyed by the buffet of card choices.
Yeah.
I would just grab the first one just to get something new out there.
Yeah, exactly. Now, one way I like to look at a game in terms of how much I like it is when the game feels like your decisions at the end of the game are a lot different than the beginning of the game. Like, it starts out doing little things, but by the end everything's kind of built together in some kind of engine that you're able to run. How do you feel like the game felt at the end of the game compared to the beginning of the game?
For this one, I honestly don't feel like it went easy to hard. Like, what game? Like Dominion?
Yeah.
Where it's kind of a little bit hard in the beginning until you start getting the higher coins, like the gold and the platinum. And then you're really starting to move. Yeah. For this game, I kind of feel like you were already set up to start moving. There was
from the very beginning.
Yeah, you really didn't have to build as long as you had the correct cards.
Yeah, I think for me, the ending of the game, toward the end, the tension between us in terms of racing to get that last card, like, that's where it felt different for me in the beginning. So it's kind of like, oh, I'm gonna grab this card and do that and collecting those cards, but at the end, it becomes this super puzzly efficient puzzle of, I want to beat her to pick up the 6th card. What's the way I can do that in the fewest number of turns?
Yeah.
And then the fact that I have more cards in front of me means more decisions. So it just becomes, to me, like, it expands as the game goes, but also becomes more tense as we near the end.
Oh, there was thing that I felt a little off about was the coins. There was copper coins and silver coins.
Oh, yeah.
And in the rules, the copper coins are 3 points. And the silver coins were 1.
Yeah.
And that really tripped me up.
So we just switched it.
Yeah, so we switched it.
Every game ever would be silver being worth more than copper, so it just makes sense. So overall, how much fun did you have playing this game, and what would you say would be your Meeple score after 10 plays?
I still feel like it's 5. And I might just be biased because I won.
Yeah.
I just demolished you. But I actually really liked it. I felt like it was like Dominion, kind of more laid back because there's less action cards that you have to read.
Yeah.
And then I kind of felt that it was like chess in a way where I had to plan all of my moves ahead of time if I wanted to beat you and or collect the colors that I wanted out of the gems. So I really liked it, and it was just really pretty.
Yeah, the artwork is great. It looks very beautiful on the table. So originally I was like between a 4 and a 4.5 when I was rating, and I kind of went back to the 4. I think I'll go with 4.5 on this, even though I lost so.
You lost so many times.
Yeah, it was so embarrassing how much I lost, but I think it was still a lot of fun in the sense that every game still felt a little bit different to me. It didn't feel stale, and I don't know, it was just a very enjoyable experience. And I think with very simple rules, it's easy to get people into. Yeah. So I think I would always be happy to play this game if you wanted to play it. So 4.5 from me, not quite a 5 because of that reason of like I wish there was a way to flesh out those cards when you needed to. Yeah. So I'll go with 4.5.
Yeah, I definitely feel like this is a great beginner game, especially because I understood it right away. So that made it really easy. So thank you so much, Dave, for showing me how to play this game.
Yeah, so the big question is, are we going to keep it to play or trade it away?
No, we're going to keep it to play.
For sure.
It's too pretty to trade away.
Yeah, I think we'll keep playing this one for a long time.
Yeah.
We'll keep bringing it out, and I'm very excited.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for taking that 10x10 journey with me of Century Golem Edition. And thank you so much for listening. That is all we have for this week. We would love to hear from you, so definitely reach out to us at thedicejesters@gmail.com or on Instagram at dicejesters. And be sure to join us next time for our next in-depth look at a game. Until then, play all the games with the ones you love.